Hello, my friends. Jacob is here once again. Thank you for pressing play. Thank you for spending some time with me. I'm so excited that you're here. We're going to talk about some interesting things today. Very important things. There's a move. A big shift is happening. I've been talking about this. I've been saying as the world gets kookier, as the world gets scarier, as we keep seeing a bunch of nonsense happen, we're going to also see some wonderful things start to bubble to the surface. Some miraculous things start to bubble to the surface. We're going to start to see people coming to the faith again, putting their faith in more than this beast system. The stuff that brings nothing but pain and suffering and consumption and blah, blah, blah. Greed, narcissism, lust is all a mess. That's why we need people to, seek more. That's what my whole channel is about, getting people to, seek the truth no matter what the cost. And guess what? Now it's going to be a little easier because people don't know God. They don't know anything about God if they don't hear about God. And this country and other countries around the world have tried to take God out of the equation. We're going to talk about a Christian pastor who was imprisoned. He's just still in prison now. He's facing new charges. Talking about how there are people that are being persecuted in other countries right now. Very, very sad. But we're also going to be talking about what I'm most excited about is what's going on right now. What's going on right now in the public schools? They took prayer out, they took the Bibles out, they took God out of the schools, and we started seeing school shootings, we started seeing a bunch of stuff, and I'm sorry, people are going to say, oh, that's not related. It is related. The instant you take God out of your life, because what are the tenets of God? Love others, love God. That's it. You do that, you win. Right? And if you love, you're not going to be killing anybody. If you love, you're not going to be hating anybody. If you love, you're not going to be bullying anybody. See, you take God out of the equation, what happens? You have a system that uses a bunch of merciless tools to keep us enslaved, programmed, miserable. Oh, so many people so lost today. And the only way out is to find the truth, to find the source of us all, to find God. And that's what is going back in the schools. Very happy to say. Yes, that's right. New law just passed. Mandatory. Got to put the sign up. In God we trust. In the schools. That's happening right now. So I hope you buckled up, people, because the day we're in, it's getting brighter. Yeah! Hello again. Hi. I'm glad you're here. A new state law just took effect this month. It requires the message, "In God We Trust," to be displayed where students are most likely to see it, like cafeterias, hallways, stuff like that. It can be no smaller than 12 inches by 12 inches, right? You can use stencils, you can do whatever you want. It could be a plaque. But this school in South Dakota, South Dakota's Republican lawmaker said it was about history. The motto appears on money, on license plates, and it's the fourth stanza in the Star-Spangled Banner, and it's also likely to be discussed in the classroom now, where historical inquiry is a key part of the state's social studies curriculum. It's important, right? Where you have schools and you have people and you have government institutions where they've progressively tried to take God out of everything. They've turned things upside down on its head. They're confusing everyone from the children on up to the adults. No one knows what to believe. No one knows what to think. People don't even know who they are anymore. They don't even know where to go to the bathroom anymore. It's been a crazy, crazy show. And the show's just getting better because like any horror movie, right? There has to be some kind of a climax. There has to be some kind of a beautiful ending. And that ending, I believe, is coming. And it's a new beginning. It's a new day for all of us. I talked about on the channel a lot. I talk about this 1,000-year reign of Christ. I talk about how one day people are going to start to wake up. They're going to start to seek the truth. And then little by little, it's going to spread, right? How can you spread the truth of God if no one knows who God is? Well, guess what? In schools, following, by the way, it's not just South Dakota. It's also this happened in Kentucky, and soon it's going to be in Missouri, and then it's going to blossom, and it's going to go. And what does this say? What does this say? Well, this tells me that instead of focusing on negative things, instead of worrying about, am I saying the right thing when I come on here? Am I getting people to go the right direction? Because I concern myself with this stuff. I spend a good deal of time praying, and I say, just give me the words so that I can share with all of you, because times are tough. Things are tough. Things are getting harder. The world is getting a lot scarier for a lot of people. But yet this light is shining. It's shining in the midst of it. And the fact that God is being displayed in the schools right now, that's big. Starting little small. Got, little small area, but it's going to blossom. And as it's blossoming, states like California the lawmakers right there, they might want to think, maybe we should return to God. Maybe then we'll get rid of all the rats and we can help the homeless. And we can, because they have a lot of, see the problem with the states, these people, if you have corrupt politicians, you have corrupt people that are doing wicked things behind closed doors, they're going to want to have that approved. So they're going to get everybody to do it, everybody to believe the way they believe and all that stuff. Well, God says, no.
5:30, the rat population in California is out of control. And now the state is taking away a tool to keep the rodents in check.
California cities are being overrun by rats. At Los Angeles City Hall, there was a typhus outbreak earlier this year when fleas carrying the disease were spread by rats that had infested a nearby homeless encampment. And
God says no. And what happens is, you got a plague of rodents, got a plague of rats. Las Vegas, plague of locusts, right? Well, not locusts, they were grasshoppers. I was going to talk about it, but I said, it's too scary. So I figured I'd just bury it in here. And a couple of people, Marv talking about it, Paul Begley's talking about it. I just, Sin City, plague of cricket. I mean, God is working. I talk about this 1,000-year reign of Christ, I talk about how it starts small and it starts to grow. Well, here's the thing. So this fall, when students return to school, a new compulsory message will greet them. In God we trust. Do you trust in God? Do you trust in more? A lot of you maybe kind of don't, but you're going to start to see stuff like this happen. You remember the fig tree that I talk about all the time, right? Remember it had dead termites and brought it in the house, had termites, didn't know no fruit, planted outside, all the leaves are gone, I was bummed, but I had faith. I said, you know what, it's coming back, and guess what? Check it out. I knew that it wasn't dying. I knew that it wasn't dead. I was very excited. Termites are gone, and look at that. The fig tree is alive. Oh my goodness, you think we're gonna get fruit this summer? It may be a little too soon, it's still a little baby tree. But this is a good sign. This makes me very happy. Oh, I would have been so sad if it was dead. I'm not the best gardener, people, but I just kind of planted it, water it now and then, and God does the rest of the work. Fig tree don't have no fruit right now, but I'm thinking it's going to. I'm thinking that we're going to start to see stuff like this happen, and we're going to start to see people come into the knowledge of the truth, and I think people are going to start to have faith. People are going to start to have joy. People are going to live longer lives. People are going to be healthier. Things are going to change. The kingdom of God is meant to be here, and it's coming. It starts small. It starts like a mustard seed, right? Starts tiny, but then it grows into this beautiful tree that houses birds of the air. It shelters those who go underneath it. It's a beautiful, wonderful thing. And I'm excited to see it, because while that's happening, in China, you got this pastor. He had like a mega pastor. I think his name is, what is his name? Wang Li? Guy's been in prison since like last year or something. Him and his wife, they were in prison. They were like sentenced to, I think it was like 7 years in prison. And he wrote this beautiful letter where he was saying, look, I know that God put the authorities in place, but if they're doing wicked things, I got to speak out against it. I don't want uprising. I just want people to know the kingdom of God. My kingdom is not of this world, Jesus said. If it was, my angels would come and fight you. Channels like mine, I don't call for violence. I don't believe any of that stuff. I know that the only way to win this game is to love. It sounds crazy when people are coming against you, to have faith and just trust God will work it out, but that's the way it works. There's a great story in the book of Daniel. I think it's Daniel 3. Where Nebuchadnezzar, this king, spooky king, right? And everybody was supposed to bow down and worship the king. When the trumpet sounded, but Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they were friends of Daniel the prophet, they refused to do it. They were like, no, I'm not going to do it. I can't bow down and worship your gods. I can't bow down and worship the stuff that's going on. I can't approve of things that I know are immoral. Can't do it. Sorry, I can't do it. And I'm not talking about baking cakes for people that you disagree with their lifestyle. That's not love. I'm talking about something completely different. I'm talking about worshiping a system instead of worshiping God. Instead of seeking the God of truth, instead of seeking the God of love, you're seeking the lies of the world and you're living in it. And I refuse to worship it. And what happens? What happens when you refuse to go along with the world system? Well, there is a system in place called the beast system. They don't like that stuff. They don't like that stuff, right? They're coming after the people that are waking up. They're coming after the Christ in you. They're coming after the church, as they say. And in China, guess what? The hunt is actually on. Yeah, there's they're going around and they're asking, China orders towns to count how many Christians there are in their area, or how many people actually, get this, believe in God, and then monitor them. China's central government has intensified its crackdown on Christianity in recent months by pressuring local government officials to keep count of how many local citizens believe in God. You believe in God, we're going to watch you. We're going to watch you, and if we don't like what you're doing, and we don't like what you're saying, we're going to put you in prison, like this pastor who's in prison right now. Sad. Brought new charges because really subversion, this guy's he has like a church of like 5,000 people. He's gonna really overthrow the Chinese government. Come on, really? Come on. You understand that the powers that be are there for a reason. We know that right now we're in the midst of a time of testing, true testing, and it's gonna get even harder, right? But when Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, when they were thrown, throw them into the furnace. They said, look, God will protect us. God will save us, no matter what happens. Oh, I'm going to lose my house. God's going to protect me. Oh, I'm going to lose my job. It's all right. God's going to protect me. Yeah, I can't do this anymore. That's okay. Sickness came upon me. It's all right. God's going to protect me. God's going to heal me. God's going to lead me. I put my faith in God. How are you going to know about God if you don't know who to put your trust in? And right now in the schools, it's there. You want to know what Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego means? This is kind of cool. Every name has meaning. I talk about this on the channel. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Each of their names means something. It means royal, Shadrach, guest, Meshach, and servant, Abednego. Royal guest and servant of the Lord, delivered from the flames. That's a beautiful thing. In Hebrews 8, it's that's the day that I talk about a lot. Because some people say, oh, Jacob, you don't tell people how exactly to believe, and you don't tell people exactly what to say, as if I'm supposed to tell you, as if I'm somehow, I know. All I know is that God will teach you, because a day has come, says it in Hebrews 8. This is the covenant that God makes with his people. That day, says the Lord, I will put my laws in their mind and in their heart, and all shall know me. Scriptures say, from the least to the greatest. And he says, this is the best part, and they shall not teach their neighbor anymore, or any man or any brother, saying, know the Lord. You're not going to go around saying, know the Lord anymore. You're not going to need to, because everyone is going to know God. And it starts off little mustard seed. And it grows into this beautiful, beautiful thing. And then this is the best part. For I will be merciful to their unrighteousness, and their sins and their iniquities I will remember no more. That's a beautiful thing. You come to God. He's going to forget your past. He's going to forget. So if he forgets your past, if he forgets your unrighteousness, and what is righteousness? Faith. Because that's what counted. Abraham had faith, and that was counted as righteousness for him. Right thinking, faith, believing in the right thing, thinking the best, not the worst. Because whatever you put your faith in becomes. Whatever you judge becomes. You're judged by it. God's going to forgive all the nonsense. He's going to lead us into a new day. And that day is approaching. But as it approaches, things get a lot worse. Remember I told you about the census? And I said that it was like a timing thing from that September 23rd sign, which, metaphorically speaking, could have been like, the light goes on and it starts. That new day starts. A couple of years later, we start hearing about the census. Now we're hearing about China. It's who are the Christians? Keep an eye on them, count them. We want to know. Coming after. Doesn't matter. In God we trust. It's in the schools. I love each and every one of you. I hope you do share, subscribe. Do me a favor. Yeah, tell your friend. Do all that stuff. If you do it, it's very helpful. If you don't do it, it's all right. Just keep watching. Don't forget to check the notification bell. A lot of people not getting notified or forget to check that bell. It'll tell you every time I put out a new video, and it's very helpful. And that's it. I love you all, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching Jacob Israel. Please hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, and share this channel around. If these shows have helped you, help Jacob to reach more any way you can, and have the best day ever.